Hello, welcome back to the Mac and Riley show. Riley is not here today, but I do have a very special guest named Courtney. So I also know Courtney from ECA, and she has been absolutely rocking it with her own coaching. She came from a corporate background, and Courtney, I'll let you do kind of a full intro of yourself, who you help, all of that good stuff. But how are you today? How's your Sunday? How's your weekend going?
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This weekend has been great. I'm in St. Petersburg. It is quite toasty over
I
here.
bet. And
Oh,
humid.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. It's like 95 degrees, but it's sunny. It's great. All good vibes. So, having a great weekend so far. How about you?
Good. My weekend's going good. Pretty chill weekend. I'm moving next week, so that's a lot.
That's
But
awesome. Yep.
but so I'm in California right now. I'm moving to Idaho, which is very exciting, a bit like slower paced. Here,
hmm
I just feel like I'm like chronically in fight or flight, which I'm sure you get that too living in St. Pete. Not that I've been, but it's just fast paced everywhere. Everyone has somewhere to go, something to do, someone to see, and like their time is like everything if they're on the road, if they're walking around. So I'm just excited for a bit of a chiller pace and just chilling out.
100%.
Um,
I feel the opposite in terms of I'm originally from Boston, and
got it. Okay.
that, if you want to talk about fight or flight,
Right.
that is like the city of fight or flight. So I feel like when I moved to St. Petersburg, it's similar to you, like just a way more chill
hmm
lifestyle day to day. Yeah, I'm very excited for you because I've
Thank
noticed
you.
a huge difference in my own life and how that impacts so many other parts, especially in
Right.
the bodybuilding world, which we'll get into. But
hmm
yeah,
I could imagine that Boston and just like the Northeast in general is like insane. Of course, there's that stigma like people in Boston are rude, New York City people are rude.
some assholes.
Yeah. And like everyone's kind of like on their own timeline, like I need to be here at this time. What are you doing in my
Mhm.
way? Kind of thing. So yeah, that's awesome. When did you move down to St. Pete?
So my fiance and I moved to Pompano Beach, Florida, kind of near
hmm
Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, 2 years ago, and then back in January we just moved to St. Petersburg, right in downtown St. Pete. So it is a
Oh, that's
dream
awesome.
come true. It is a lot more people like our age.
Yeah.
I swear I lived in like a 65 plus environment in Pompano. Everyone was
Which
retired.
you're like, I got really used to the slow life there. Yeah,
Same, and I did. And honestly, that's kind of my vibe anyways, like in bed by 9 p.m. Like
exactly.
we were living the same life anyways, but it is
Right.
very refreshing to see people more my age over
You're
here.
like, hey, I love seeing people staying out till 2 a.m. and like hanging out, all that good stuff, but like it's nice to see from afar. That's how I am too. I'm like, I'm glad
Yeah,
you guys are having such a fun time.
exactly. Yep.
I will be awake like probably when you're going to bed. So,
100%.
um, yeah, so I know you're in prep right now. I was gonna say, I bet St. Pete has some really good food, like good seafood and stuff. You probably can't enjoy that all that much right now. But kind of give us the lowdown. Like, how did you get into the fitness space? How did you get into bodybuilding? I know you're in prep right now, so any like prep updates, anything you want to share about how prep's going?
Yeah. I have a lot to say in terms of my journey. I would say I'll start back in 2014, or I guess growing up, kind of similar to a lot of bodybuilders. Growing up, I was always involved in sports. I played hockey for 10 years.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, yep, ice hockey. Everyone always is so surprised.
I
But
grew up definitely like my best friend when I was young, her little brother played hockey, travel hockey,
cool.
and I was at the rinks every weekend, so I'm a big hockey.
Yep, love it, love it. Yeah, I fell in love with hockey. It was wonderful. I was a 3 season athlete in high school doing volleyball, hockey, and lacrosse. I was a kickboxing instructor for a couple years. So I've always been very active.
hmm
And then in 2014 is when I stepped into a gym for the very first time with my dad.
hmm
He taught me the foundation of everything, basically how to lift like a man. I never skipped
Right.
upper body days. Like we had chest, shoulders, back, typical,
hmm
typical bro split. Um,
hmm
and so then in college, I started doing a little bit more of my own research and kind of started to teach myself how to improve. And I started getting quite competitive with myself.
Mm,
And that was really where everything started gaining momentum in the bodybuilding type of world. So I started, of course, I fell for some of those like classic Instagram
right.
influencer workouts.
Don't we all? I mean, you just had to be there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it was the time, you know?
it was.
We tried it, but I started experimenting things on my own in my own training, and like I said, I started getting more and more competitive with myself to just see like what else I could accomplish. I loved the feeling of getting stronger and hitting a new PR. And so I did have my eye on competing at that time, but honestly, it felt like more of like a far distance dream
Right.
than any reality. I just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't ready to fully commit my lifestyle to it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess kind of fast forward 2022, I was done making excuses. I was so ready to challenge myself unlike anything that I've ever done before. And that decision was a huge turning point for me in my life in so
Mm-hmm.
many ways. I ended up finding a coach that led me into my first bodybuilding prep for 2023 show. I hired a mentorship program that helped me launch my business officially. Yeah, I mean, here we are. We never look back, and that was the best decision I've ever made.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's kind of similar to my story as far as like getting into the gym oddly around the same time. Very interesting. Around the same time, and then people would ask me like, "Would you ever compete?" And I'm like, "Yeah, one day." Like, I want to, but like, I'm not at that point right now. And
Yeah.
it got to a point where I think bodybuilding is one of those things. Is like you're never gonna feel ready to be like, "Here, let's. This is gonna be my first season." And it's one of those things like at some point you just have to like send it and like see what
hmm
package you bring
hmm
and go from there. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously don't step on stage if you're like clearly not ready and you don't have a foundation.
That's ultimately the coach's responsibility, though, is
Right.
to get you there.
Right, exactly. And the more I started thinking, I was like, I would hate to, even if I don't like it, even if I'm like, I hate that, I'm never doing it again, I would hate to be 80 and being like, well, what if I tried it?
The what if is the
Yeah,
worst, 100%. And then there we go. Like, then you
right.
never look back, and I feel like it just like ends up spiraling into so many other decisions that end up, it's so crazy how that happens. Like one decision can completely change the trajectory of your life.
Exactly. Exactly. It's actually crazy. And I know there's a lot of rhetoric. I feel like more so lately about like this is how bodybuilding ruined my life or this is how bodybuilding ruined my relationship with food. And that tells me, not saying to everyone, but they because everyone has their own experience with shows, coaches, like PEDs, everything. But if you haven't done your due diligence before and like looked into the sport and be like, okay, this is what I'm at risk for in this sport, you probably shouldn't do it because I feel like there's so many people who are just like, I started going to the gym a couple months ago. I think I'm gonna do a show. And I'm like, wait.
Like, let's wait a sec. Let's pause.
Yeah.
Let's consider all the things because you're exactly right. I mean, this is the sport is not for the weak of mind,
Yeah.
especially I think over. I think your mind is the most powerful tool
Hmm.
that we have, and if you're already struggling with your relationship with food, or you don't have a solid enough foundation of muscle, or you've already been in a deficit for way too long, like
Right.
we we have a lot of work to do before you can actually realistically step on stage and be better for it on the other side.
Hmm. Exactly. And I hear of course, everyone's protocol is going to be different. Everyone has to go to like different food amount, different cardio amount. But it's a notable trend that I see bikini girls being like, I have 3 hours of cardio a day. I have this amount of cardio a day. What that tells me is their coach did not set them up correctly for a prep. I'm not
hmm
like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, it is crazy you're doing that much, but I'm not like, wow, that's incredible. You're able to dedicate all that time. I'm like, that sucks. That's not, yeah,
hmm
prep is going to be grueling. There's going to be hard days. But in my opinion, like I said, everyone's going to need different amounts of cardio, lowering food, etc. But that reflects on their coach when I see that. I'm
Couldn't
like,
agree
oof,
more.
we got to set you up better, girl.
100%. It doesn't need to be that bad. And it's crazy too. So this is my second season. So my first season was in 2023, and it's so interesting like how different these two preps have been so far.
Mm,
I'm still now 12 weeks out from my second season of shows. Um, it is a substantially different prep than I did the first time, and it's so much easier this time. I don't know if part of it is because I already kind of know what to expect. I
Right.
also built more muscle, so I have that foundation. Not to mention, I mean, I quit my corporate job, so
Hmm.
I'm
I
no
would love
longer
to
in
dive into that too.
stress. I'm not living in Boston with the fight or flight. So my sleep is better, my recovery is better, my stress management is better. And that in itself, it's crazy how much that can make an impact. But it really is. I mean, this prep is so much smoother because of those factors. And I'm like, hallelujah. Why
Yeah,
didn't I do this before?
exactly. It's crazy because like even if you're hitting your meals, doing your cardio, hitting your steps, all of the things, stress can seriously like ruin a physique.
A
Like you
hundred.
could even be like the same weight. Like, okay, you're 112 here and 112 there, but this 112 is like really stressed out. You're holding on to a bunch of water. You can see it like not only on your physique, but in your face, like
Mhm.
just everywhere. And that's interesting too that you're finding that this prep is a lot like easier, I guess. I mean, I'm sure it presents its own challenges. And as they always say, like every prep is different, every show is different. My
Mhm.
coach used to always tell me to like this, like on my first season, which was last year, so 2024. He's like, this is probably like the hardest prep is going to be. Like, this is the most we're going to have to dig. And I was like, oh, interesting. Because your body kind of, the way he explained it to me was like, your body sort of gets adjusted to the lifestyle and like gets adjusted to dieting down, gets adjusted to the cardio. And it's like, okay, this is like our new set point almost.
Exactly.
It's really freaking cool to think about it like that. And before I competed, I always wondered that too about like pros or Olympians. I'm like, how do they do like 5 shows back to back to back? But they just can hold that conditioning without going to extreme lengths,
Hmm.
which is
It is
crazy to think about.
crazy. It is crazy how our bodies work like that. And to me, that just tells me like it's all like it's only as hard as you make it. And when you're doing the things, you can. Like it's just we all have the same potential. It's just you
Right.
deciding to make it happen or if you're gonna make excuses.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. I'm sure you get this as well from either like fitness people or just like your regular run of the mill person that's like, wow, I wish I had that discipline. I wish I had XYZ. I wish I could do that. And I'm like, I'm not special. Like, I don't have something ingrained in my brain or like anything like that. Like, you can also do this. It's
Mhm.
not some novel thing. I will say I do have the luxury, which you have the opposite end of the spectrum too. I do have the luxury that like I work from home. I can make my meals, just go in the other room, make a meal, and I know that not everybody can do that.
Mhm.
But there are so many successful bodybuilders that do kind of live that corporate life or even like blue collar life for the men or
Yeah.
like our parents, step parents, etc. So you were still in your corporate position when you did your first prep, correct?
Yes. Yep, that's correct.
How did that go? How did you structure your days? Like, and it was also your first prep as well, so that's all you can really compare it to.
Hmm.
But just kind of I want to know a little bit more about that and kind of how you approached prep with work as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough. So I was working in Boston in the city. It was 8 to 5 sharp. So we had an
Mm.
8 a.m. meeting every single day. You could not leave the office before 5 p.m. on the dot. So it was pretty strict, Monday through Friday in office. Actually, okay, sorry, that was pre-COVID. After COVID, it was 3 days in office. And so, yeah, I mean, I would have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and get ready to be at the gym by 5 a.m. I would go and do my fasted cardio, or I would do a training day, kind of depending on whatever,
Right.
whatever that split was. Yeah, I had to be in the gym by 5 a.m. I had to finish up by 6:15, get home by 6:30, shower, get my stuff together and leave by 7, be in the office by 7:30, ready to go by 8. And then you work the whole day. And I was in
Hmm.
sales. So I'm managing teams. I'm like,
And
on.
your brain has to be, it's not like you can just kind of chill out. It's like
No.
your brain has to be on.
Exactly. I had to be on. I had to be talking to people. I was, had all these sales quotas to hit. And, 5 o'clock comes, I am pooped. I am absolutely exhausted. But, lunchtime, I'm getting my steps in, I'm walking for an hour. So I'm hitting protocols as much as possible during that time. I'm not making excuses. And then
Hmm.
once work got out, then you sit in traffic for a little bit. You go to the gym,
Yeah,
do the other portion. So yeah, it was, and it's eat, sleep, repeat, and
exactly.
it was pretty exhausting. Not gonna
I
lie.
bet.
But at that point too, I chose it,
Yeah,
and
and that's the thing too is so many bodybuilding is such a privileged sport. Like you are actively I don't even want to say starving yourself because I feel like that misrepresents the sport too. You are actively trying to change your physique by limiting your intake of food
hmm,
when some people are dying to get their hands on their next meal.
hmm,
And I cannot stand when people are like, I'm so hungry. I'm so this. I'm like, no one's forcing you to do this.
hmm,
You could
exactly.
go down to the gas station, get a nice chocolate bar. Like, no one's no one's saying you can't. I understand the allure of like, man, that sounds really good. But it's the complaining that gets to me because I'm like, not everyone, and not I'm not trying to gatekeep the sport whatsoever. I think the beauty of it kind of like growing in popularity is amazing. But the thing is like you don't have to like bodybuilding, or you could even admire the sport and not participate.
Hmm.
So like you don't have to do it. I think a lot of people are in kind of that mindset of like, well, here goes prep again, like don't really want to do this. And
Hmm.
it's crazy to me because I couldn't imagine feeling that way and actively being in prep and being like, why am I doing this? Because yeah, there are some days that suck, but I mean, outside of prep, there's some days that suck. There's some days that are great. It's
Totally.
just kind of life.
I couldn't agree more. And I feel like it kind of goes both ways. It's like whether you're in prep and you're complaining about it, or if you're lifestyle type of person and you're complaining about either a diet or
Hmm.
complaining about how you're fat and not
Yeah.
comfortable in your clothes and complaining about XYZ symptoms, but you're not doing anything to change it. So
Hmm.
it kind of goes both ways of people
Yeah.
always want, like, grass is always greener, you always want what you don't
Exactly.
have. But when you have a goal in mind, you're deciding on that, and whatever you're not
Hmm.
changing, you're choosing. So
Right.
you know if you're going to do something,
Right.
give 100%, and that's what you're doing.
And then it's like you're wasting, especially from like a lifestyle component. So someone who's not competing, like say if they're really uncomfortable in their skin, whatever, totally valid, extremely valid. And that is me and Courtney are here to help. um, but it's like you're wasting that extra energy feeling sorry for yourself versus where you can be channeling it into like, okay, let's create a meal plan for the week. How are we going to change this and make me feel better versus just stewing in, I feel so bad, I feel so bad, I feel so bad. Because you're just going to continue to feel bad.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Regarding that, I want to also talk about like women that you work with. I know you work with a lot of high performing women, a lot of people in corporate jobs, leadership roles. What struggles do you find come up for them kind of over and over again? What are the themes that you see when somebody inquires with you? Like, what are they struggling?
Yeah, great question. I mean, a lot of times they say they're doing everything right, but they're still
Hmm.
exhausted, they're still bloated, they're still inflamed and stuck in that kind of restrictive cycle, and it's impossible for them to stay consistent with it.
Mm,
And it's really sad and frustrating for us as coaches too, because really it's not their fault all the time. Like the fitness world, just it tells you to keep pushing harder, and there's just so much misinformation out there and telling you, like, you should be fasting, you should be cutting all your carbs, and you should do all this over exercising, and then they wonder why their bodies aren't responding well.
right. And then it's like, well, this person said I should do Pilates. This person said I need to lift. This person said that like eggs are bad. And this person says like the soy eggs are bad. I'm like, wait, 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 wait. And also, too, I just thought of this is a lot of those women, especially those kind of like corporate hustlers, sales, whatever their profession is, they're probably trying to live the lifestyle you lived in prep,
Mhm.
and that's why they're getting burnt out. But you're like, wait, we don't need to do all that.
We
That's
don't.
okay. I mean, if you want to go into a bodybuilding prep, that's one thing. But if
Mhm.
you're just looking to like lose a couple pounds, feel more confident, like we don't need to go that balls to the wall.
I couldn't agree more. And then that goes back into what we were talking about earlier. Like, just because you're a high achieving person does not mean that your body feels safe and that it's
Mm-hmm.
going to respond to the things that you're doing. So, I think first and foremost, we need to make sure that we're hitting the foundations, the basics, the making sure you're not in a fight or flight mode because
Yeah.
from there, I mean, nothing is going to work.
Yeah, the nervous system work is so huge. And I can tell almost right when I start talking to somebody, like where their nervous system stands. I can tell off of body language, how they're talking about themselves, like their environment around them, especially no hate to kids or anything. Cause like I understand, like moms are freaking amazing. But also like if I'm on a Zoom call with someone and there's the TV playing and the kids in the background and everything going on, I'm like, okay, I know she does not feel
Yeah.
safe, which like I said, kids are going to be kids. It's not like you can be like, mom needs nervous system grounding time. You need to like go away. But at the same time, we need to be sure that mom is allowed to take that time when a majority of the time she is going to be in that kind of like high stress environment. From your perspective, what kind of cues do you see or when people come to you like, okay, this female body is burnt out beyond just like, I'm a little bit tired when I get home from work. What do you see as far as trends there?
Yeah. Uh, Honestly, so being burnt out is not just a mindset. Like, it really starts at the mitochondrial level. It's
Hmm.
hormonal, it's your cortisol being out of whack and super high. Your thyroid is going to be adapting from there. Your gut is going to stop digesting well. Your nervous system, just like you said, it forgets what like true rest feels like.
Right.
Your body
And
is
if we're
screaming at
so right, if we're so like fight or flight, going, 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 the number one kind of like metric that your body wants to do is just keep you alive. It doesn't really care how it does that.
you.
It
Mhm.
just wants to keep you afloat. We don't want to die.
Yep.
So, yeah, all
Yeah,
that to say, totally
100%.
agree.
You need a new strategy at that point. It's like
Hmm.
some of those for example, I mean, the morning exhaustion. It's like even after 8 hours of sleep, it's like why? It's because your cortisol isn't rising properly or you're constantly bloated or having digestive issues. Like again, the fight or flight mode, it shuts down your digestion. So no wonder why that's happening when you're wired at night and your mind is racing. It's again, cortisol is taken into place. It's spiking when it should actually be dropping, so you can't relax.
Hmm.
Again,
That's something I see so much, especially with these type of individuals, is that inverse cortisol pattern. So
mhm.
like 7 p.m. hits, they have their last meal, and then they're wired. They're like thinking about the next day, thinking about the next task. How did this day go? What do I have to do tomorrow? Well, maybe
Mhm.
I should do this online. And then when they wake up in the morning, they're like, feel like they've been hit by a train. When that should be opposite. Wind down, relax, all good. We're gonna get a nice restful night's sleep. Tomorrow we'll hit the ground running. But
Exactly.
it's inverse.
Yep. Yeah, and too many women feel that way. It's really sad, but it doesn't mean that they're broken. Like it
No,
just
no,
means that
that's
they
something I want to convey heavily too.
yeah.
Is I because I think a lot of people can hear this and be like, well, yep, just what I thought. Bias confirmed. None of this is going to work for me ever. So I should just give up now. And I'm like, no, this knowledge is power to know that you can be helped and you can be fixed.
Yes, exactly.
So something else that I see a lot is, well, hang on, let me pause for one moment because my laptop's about to die and my charger's in the other room. So I'm going to
No.
click pause and I'll
Okay.
be right back. Charger has been Charger has been acquired. We are all good now. Um,
Totally.
so just kind of going back to what we were talking about, something else that I see, I'm sure you see this all of the time too, is these type of women are fasting and fasting and fasting. So then their cortisol in the morning, we have that cortisol awakening response and it just never drops. So they're just
Mhm.
running on cortisol all freaking day and just kind of like going, going, going until they hit that spot of burnout and they, oh, it's lunchtime. Let me eat whatever I can in sight. Or especially like with nurses, jobs that cater food, they're like, Well, they catered pizza today, so that's what I had, and that's like what they eat all day. They go home and they maybe snack on their kids' food, and that's it.
Yep.
That's the day.
It's terrible. Honestly, that is one of the worst. That's one of the first things that I start teaching my clients is the importance of meal timing and how we balance our blood sugar levels so that we are minimizing those crashes midday.
Hmm.
We're minimizing the cravings later at night because when your body is underfueled, then your blood sugar, your cortisol levels, everything is out of whack, and that is why all these things end up happening. You can't outsmart your body.
Exactly.
And just because you're trying to be healthy and restricting calories, that's not better for you.
Hmm.
You're actually making things worse, and
Right.
it's so sad because people don't even know. So that's one
I
of the
know, and
first things.
it's too like the social media component makes it so hard because there are some people saying, yeah, I lost 20 pounds by eating my first meal at 1 p.m. I lost 50 pounds by doing one meal a day diet. And it's just
Mhm.
like, sure. I think the biggest thing that people mistake is you saw fat loss, or maybe it was muscle loss, maybe it was both. Who knows? You saw the scale go down. You saw the scale go down. Maybe your clothes are fitting better, but that doesn't mean one that you're going to retain that progress,
Right.
or two that your physiological body is in a better spot.
Exactly. And it's not a one size fits all. For
Exactly.
someone, fasting could be the right solution for them. And there are
Exactly.
totally benefits to that. Like, I'm
Hmm.
not bashing that.
Right. Me neither. Yeah.
It's just not meant to be a sustainable thing for everybody. And I would argue that most bodies probably don't thrive off of fasting every day. I mean, there's lots of research as to why fasting is so great.
Yeah,
And
especially because a lot of research done isn't on females. And we have to consider like males are on a 24-hour hormonal pattern. We're
Mhm.
on a 28 to 35-day hormonal pattern. Males are going to have the same peaks and flows of hormones. Testosterone's going to raise kind of mid morning and then kind of taper off through the day. Like our cortisol rhythms are similar, but as far as like in estradiol, progesterone, testosterone for females, that is all changing throughout the course of the month.
Mhm.
And that needs to be taken into account when we're thinking about fasting as well.
Exactly. And a lot of women just kind of go rogue and it's not even true fasting. It's like it's more of a restricting calories kind of
Exactly.
mindset. We're not being strategic about it. It's just like I'm just not going to eat until 12 or 1 and then, see how it goes kind of thing.
And the worst part is most of them are running on caffeine as well. So maybe they'll hit Starbucks
Which
or they'll use their Nespresso at home, which don't get me wrong, love a coffee. I just finished mine, so no hate. But they'll be running on caffeine, thereby ramping up their cortisol more. We don't get that food to bring down the cortisol awakening response. And they're just running on fumes at this point. And their thyroid is like, help, help, basically. But this isn't info that you're just going to know. And the modern
right.
media isn't going to help you to know this either because there's so many different narratives like we touched on. And then you have the like holistic girlies who are like, never drink coffee before your food. Always wait 120 minutes before and use these creamers and not those. And this one has seed oils, but only get it from your pasture raised farmer. Like it's just you can't do anything right. And I swear, like I exist
Oh
somewhere.
no.
I feel like you're probably the same.
Mac, you
You
left.
probably exist somewhere in the middle
Oh no, Mac.
with that.
Did you actually plug it in? Come back to me, Mac baby. Maybe I should just keep running. I don't know. I think it's still recording. Oh no. Hopefully she joins us back. In case it's still recording. You can look at my puppy. Oh, look how cute they are. That's Morgan, Lexi, Molly. These are the videos that my mom and my sister sent to me. Oh, she is my heart and soul, my little angel. They're all Maltipoos. We have three of them. And then we also have a golden doodle named Luna.
Can you hear me now?
that we just got this year. Mac is joining us again.
I think I'm back.
Are
Can
you
you hear
back?
me?
Oh, I can't hear you.
What about now? Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't know
here.
what happened. I was just laughing with you and then it went away. But what I was saying before I got booted was I personally, and you probably do as well, exist more in the middle between like the like almond mom and then like the crunchy like only farmers market. Like I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I'm like, okay, I can have my sugar-free syrups, but I don't need to do like I can have my sugar-free syrups, but I don't need to do this like autophagy cleanse every week. Like there's a balance to things.
Agreed. I think there really is. Honestly, I get kind of frustrated because some people slide in my DMs when they see
Yep.
that I use like sugar-free syrup or sugar-free jello or like whatever sugar-free things. But I'm gonna say, and this is my response every time, the poison is in the dose. You know, my primary diet is like 90% whole foods. I eat
Mhm.
most whole foods. But if I'm gonna sprinkle some, like, my recent obsession
I
has
saw
been
that on your
nut
story. I'm like, I need
Cheerios
to
in
find
my
those.
protein.
And I've also seen that they have mini cinnamon toast crunch, and I'm sure they have other minis.
Oh my god, I'm sure. The minis are great for volume. But anyways, I'm using
Right.
12 grams of Honey Nut Cheerios every week. And if you're gonna tell me that I can't do that, but I don't drink, I
Hmm.
don't go to McDonald's, I don't, like all of these people that are like the people that are sliding in my DM saying like, oh, but you know, Diet Coke is really bad for you, and I'm like, okay, but you're also the one that's
Exactly. And I'm
drinking
also
alcohol
like,
every weekend
who told you
and
that? And that's something we could get we could get
yeah,
it we could
well,
do a
it's
whole
just
other episode on that. But on just like artificial sweeteners and like what kind of like literature actually
yeah.
says about artificial sweeteners. Because I don't know what it was. Like someone
Mhm.
in the 90s just like took it and ran with it. And it's like still here. Like that rhetoric is like still here. Um, I find that the
Yeah.
people, because that happens to me all of the time, if I like order a Diet Coke or whatever, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have that? And I'm like, okay, that's your fifth beer today. Like it's always those people for some reason. I don't know what it is. I have
Always,
no idea.
always. Yeah. But again,
Hmm.
it's the dosage. If you are doing that to the extreme every single day and overeating it and XYZ, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna feel good. You're not gonna perform well. You're
Yeah,
gonna
and
be hurting your
your gut is
PTOS
going to
body.
tell you.
But
Yeah,
yeah, 100%. But there is a balance
exactly.
here. Like we're human. There's even our vegetables have pesticides on them. Like you can't win in today's day. Like we are being poisoned from up
Hmm.
above in every way. But you have to take it all with a grain of salt and just do your best. And again, like if you are having primarily whole foods and you are being mindful of what you are eating and drinking every day, there is balance that's
Exactly.
possible and you're allowed to have a little bit of both without it
Yeah.
feeling like
And
you're
that's a
just
huge reason
ruining
people
everything.
fall off too, because they get into this 100% all or nothing mindset and they think like, crap, I had one Hershey's Kiss, like all of my progress is ruined. Why am I doing this? I suck at this. I'm not built for this.
I might as well just order a whole
Exactly. And
pizza
then they're
and eat it to
just
my face now.
either right back at where they started or worse. So I think
Hmm.
the biggest thing is like somebody could know exactly what to do. My macros are set here, my cardio is set here, I have a great plan. But the question comes up is like, okay, where's your mindset at with all of this? Because that is going to be the biggest determinant of like,
One.
are you retaining that progress? And how is it going to continue to carry like
Hmm.
years from now?
I could not agree more. And that's one of my non-negotiables with my clients is starting every single day with a five
I love
minute
that.
mindset reset to just ground yourself. I have some affirmations. I think the
Hmm.
power of gratitude is so powerful. And again, just like you said, like our mindset is
Hmm.
it's our biggest tool and we have so much power of, it can be the same reality, but depending on your perception of that reality, it is going to feel completely different. And that's going to trickle into so many other factors and areas of your life. But your mindset, you need to make sure that you're
Yeah.
starting off the day strong like that, because one
Right. It
little
could
thing
just
that
set
goes
you
wrong
off.
can
Like if you
easily.
woke up a little bit on the wrong side of the bed, or like
Exactly.
depending on where you're at in your cycle, like all kinds of things. If like someone cuts you off, that could be your like kind of like cutoff point of that day, and you're like, okay, screw it, nothing's worth it. I'm going off the rails. So setting that grounding work before the day starts, before the emails start, before the phone calls start is so huge. So, so, so huge.
It
Um,
really is.
Two, I kind of wanted to talk about if you've noticed how bodybuilding has shaped the way that you coach, even if it's for lifestyle people.
Yes, I mean, to be honest, I obviously bodybuilding is an extreme sport and it is
Right,
not the
it's not.
same as lifestyle clients. But a lot of principles do remain the same over both. I think bodybuilding, it's really given me
Mm-hmm.
standards. It's taught me about non-negotiables and how that can really shift into a completely new identity for yourself. Because if you want it bad enough, you can find a way to make it happen. And bodybuilding taught me that, because it's
Right.
not easy doing these things. Like, we are living the extreme every day, but we make it happen because that's what we decided. That is, our mind, our eyes are on the prize. And it showed me, also how easy it is to hide behind
Mm-hmm.
that achievement when your internal health is kind of not being your best. Like, that's why, for me, I coach with a blend of structure, but also that
Mm-hmm.
functional strategy, where you can kind of find a little bit of both. But just like we said, it's so much of it is mindset, and I take a lot of that into how I coach
Totally.
my
It's something that
clients.
bodybuilding has taught me as a coach as well is the management of expectations. So what I mean by that is like, let's say a new client
Mm,
comes to me, it's like, yeah, I really don't want to give up my kind of like my weekends. I don't want to track. That's not worth it for me. I'm like, okay, we can work with that, but you can't expect this progress when we don't want to give up these kind of
yes.
things. So I'm not going to tell you you can't,
Hmm.
but when you're not getting the results that you want, that's something we're going to have to consider and say, okay, is it worth it? Or is it not? Maybe it is worth it. And like
Hmm.
only you can determine that at the end of the day.
I agree. I agree. And I think I saw something online where it's like, you can't expect
Mhm.
B level effort to give you A
Mhm.
level results. We need to level set, and you need to be crystal clear on what your goal really is and what it's going to take to get there. Because if you're not willing to put in that work, then you're not going to be getting those results. And, you don't need to become a bodybuilder to build discipline, but you do need standards. And that's going to take you through every day. Oh my gosh, again, Mac? No, what is happening? While we're taking a little break, I'm going to show you my bum energy. Oh, can you see it? Yep. Sea bum energy. This is the orange sunrise flavor. It is so good. It is the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee, so it's not like a true pre-workout, but I do drink it before the gym, and I swear it just helps me get so dialed and so energized and awake and alive. I am not sponsored by them. I just love it. They have so many different flavors. Highly suggest trying them out. I feel like this is a little um, what is it? Advertisement time. While we're here, I'm going to talk about Flavor Gang because they are the best of the best. Use my code COURTFIT. They have the most delicious bowl of gains, which is basically cream of rice. And I use it every single day as my pre workout meal. They have also the best macro friendly sauces, the best of the best. They are coach approved. She said she's gonna come back and cut out some of these parts, but we can keep some of these advertisements. I'm also now an eminent nutrition affiliate or athlete, and you can use my code COURTFIT also over there. Bile Boost is the best. If you're not using it yet, you're missing out. They also have pre-workout, they have protein, they have a D3 and K2 supplement. It is truly some nutrition that you can really trust. So, highly recommend. And we have Mac back, I think. Mac baby, are you back?
Okay. I don't know what the heck is going on. I have no idea. I think it could be because I have a bunch of tabs open, so now I know that for future.
And
Um,
you're
yeah,
back.
and it could also be my Wi-Fi, which I'm moving, so that's going to be a lot better. So now I know for the next
Mm.
recording, close the tabs, open a new browser, and leave it at that. So I did want to just kind of do some like rapid fire Q&A and just like, I mean, take as long
Sure.
as you want with the question, but if you want to just give me like a one-liner, that works too. So, what is one supplement that you think
Love it.
is overrated?
Mm. I would say
Hmm.
fat burners because most people
Yeah,
just need sleep and structure and to focus on
I
the
totally
basics.
agree. And it's always these like GNC fat burner that's like, I'm like, that's just L-carnitine. That's all that is. That's all that is, and it's priced at like $75.
But people know
Um,
that. Mm-hmm.
what
Exactly.
what is one sign that you find that a woman is ready to shift out of that like hustle, go mode, fight or flight? What is the biggest thing that you see presenting?
I would say there becomes a moment where you are just at rock bottom and you are tired of your own
Mm-hmm.
excuses and you know that something needs to change. And a lot of times, unfortunately, women have to hit that rock bottom in order for them to really take that first step of
Yeah.
seeking help and finally
Yeah.
getting better.
Something that I think too, more from a like a mental symptom, I guess, is like being super snappy. So like you're so stuck in this
Mm,
fight or flight and almost like masculine energy. Not saying all men are like snippy or anything, but kind of like low tolerance for anything, huge mood swings, like saying something and then being like, that was really rude. Why did I say that? To like the ones that you love the most. And I've been there
yeah.
too, but I find it's in those times where I'm really overwhelmed, nervous system, not doing too hot, where I'm like, why did I say that? Like there's no reason. For me, that's what I find. Like
Yes.
if I get a client that's like, I've been really snappy with my kids, snappy with my husband, like coworkers, I'm like, okay, we got to regulate out a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What? Okay. Stepping heel hits the off stage. You're off stage. What is the first thing you want to eat?
Oh, so hard. I I'm a big,
Me
big
too.
foodie, but I would say Asian
Ooh.
fusion is my like guilty pleasure. So some pad thai, some soup
Mm.
dumplings, like give me all the
Yeah, the sushi. The
sushi
sushi.
and yeah, all that
I
goodness.
need to
Oh,
get
so good.
yeah.
Extra like aioli.
I need to try Thai again because the last time I had Thai, I was like 14 and I got food poisoning and then I just like wrote it off. I was like, no. But
No.
I
You're
know I need
missing
to try
out
it again
now.
and like a place that's not going to give me food poisoning, ideally.
Yes,
But I
that
don't
helps.
know if are spring rolls Thai because I love a spring roll.
So honestly, I think they definitely have spring rolls at most Thai restaurants, but I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
want
know
to
either.
speak. I'm not 100% sure. It's definitely. I mean, it's in that
Yeah,
world.
that's what I was thinking too. But that sounds. What about sweet?
Mm. Okay, so it's funny because I was never really a huge like. Not that I didn't enjoy sweets, but ever since I started bodybuilding, I started liking donuts and cookies, and I never ever would have a cookie
And then that
or a
explore page
donut.
just goes nuts.
It goes crazy. So I have you seen those like the
Yep.
fat and weird cookies? Oh my god, those things. So I had some of those post show and these things are like massive, but they have
Do
like
you
the
remember what
craziest things. So
flavor you got?
anything
Well, I know
peanut
it's not like
butter.
one flavor. It's like for those of you that don't know, it's like this huge cookie with like a Pop Tart inside and like a wafer inside the Pop Tart. It's just insane.
Yes. I remember I got a
Mhm.
Biscoff cookie one and it was to die for. I remember that one. I will definitely be doing that again
I
post
don't
show
blame you.
this time. But anything peanut butter is like a guilty
Mhm.
pleasure for me.
Yeah.
So Reese cups, like
And
all
at
like
that point, it's like anything's gonna taste good.
Yeah. Oh, for
Anything's
sure.
gonna
For
taste good. So
sure.
you could get like a plain Oreo and you're like, wow. Wow, just amazing. Uh so before I close out and like you can tell everyone where they can find you and all that stuff, just last question. What is one thing that you would tell every kind of high performing woman who feels like she's done everything but still like doesn't feel that connection to herself?
Yeah. One, it's not your fault. Again, I think social media makes things so confusing for so many women and don't teach us how to heal ourselves from the inside out. Because if your body's not responding, it's because it's trying to
Mhm.
protect you. So you don't necessarily need to
Yeah.
hustle more or to cut more calories. You need someone to, in my opinion, I'm a big believer in not needing to do it yourself because there's so many questions out there. You just don't really know what's right for you, for your body, for your
Mhm.
goals. And at that point, you need to find a coach that you can trust, that has your best interest in mind, and help kind of decode
I
that
love that.
chaos.
Decode the chaos. That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what you and I do every day for our clients. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
subtle plug.
Yeah, with
I'd love
that
to
subtle
have you
plug,
here.
where can people find you? What if they want to work with you? Like where should they go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. It is courtfit_coaching. I have a website in my bio. I have an application in there. You can check out some of my content. And if any of it speaks to you, I'd be more than happy to chat more in my DMs. We can set up an introduction call, no strings attached, just trying to help. And I'm more than happy to even just offer
Yeah.
free advice. I am not someone that needs to hire every single person that comes to me if it's not going to be a good
Right.
fit. I don't want
What's the
I don't
point?
want
You're
to feel
wasting each
comfortable
other's time at
committing
that
to it.
point. Yeah.
Exactly. Right, exactly. But I'm happy to give some free advice
Okay,
at the very
awesome,
least.
cool. Well, I will put everything that you said in the show notes and the description so you can just click the link and be connected with Courtney right away. But thank you so much for coming on. I think we had some really good nuggets in here, and this will definitely not be the last episode with me and Courtney. Hopefully, Riley will come in too and bring some kind of like, I would be curious to have like a male perspective as well on these kind of women's topics and
Mm,
how he approaches it for female clients as well. That would be really interesting to me. Yeah,
next
next time
time.
we'll have to do that for sure. But it was great chatting with you. Anything else that you want to leave the audience with?
I would just say again, don't sit and struggle alone. You're not alone, and there's so many resources. Sometimes it's information overload out there, so talk to
Yeah,
someone that you trust and go from
absolutely.
there.
Well, Courtney, it was a pleasure having you on, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. All right. Thanks
Yes.
so much for having me. Bye.